I heard this call this morning when I was listening to Matthew Ryan, who was covering for Nick Ferrari on the LBC morning show, which I think must have given some of Nick Ferrari's usual callers a bit of a shock. There was a very interesting call in a discussion that was about the state of politics, really, and the state of the kind of politicians that we seem to have these days, and whether that has changed or not over time. With this call we have here, really surprised me because we have a Marxist feminist perspective. So let's go ahead, listen to the call.
Let's go to Andrea in Leighton to talk about quality of our politicians. Good morning to you, Andrea.
Yes, Matthew. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you much. I mean, it's easy to look back on the great days of Disraeli, who was a genius, or Pitt Younger, or Lord Palmerston,
Yes,
or even Arthur Balfour, or maybe Winston Starvation Churchill, although he killed 3 million Indians in Bengal. But the point is, the question is slightly misframed. It's not why are politicians worse, or have they always been as worse, but why are there ever any good politicians in Parliament at all, as Cromwell was thinking. And so the real question is, whose interests does Parliament represent? And because I'm a UCL-trained radical feminist Marxist, the answer to that is that Parliament is just a surface game which represents the interests of capitalism, imperialism, and militarism. And if you hold that framework in your mind, things begin to make a lot more sense. So why, to be controversial, is Steer Karma trying to stir up yet more trouble in Project Ukraine? Because the military-industrial complex likes to get rich by selling weapons to kill people and destroying things. And it suits Western interests to promote sort of Slavic civil war in Ukraine. So these are the things that suit capitalists and imperialists, but they certainly don't suit you and me, do they, Matthew? And so once you look at modern history, say from about 1700, the British East India Company, the rise of the City of London, the rise of the Dutch East India Company, the rise of European supremacist imperialism all over the world, the bits of the jigsaw begin to fall into place. So people should read the Communist Manifesto if they've got time. and Lenin's great book, Imperialism, the High State of Capitalism, rather ironic, which he wrote in 1916-17.
Just so you know, Andrea, I'm actually inclined to, one should read as many political treatises as we can, but I am wondering for the average and typical Nick Ferrari listener whether radical feminist Marxism it goes comfortably with their breakfast.
Perhaps it's going to come in little packets in the cornflakes these days. And both those books are available online for free, so you can't object to the price. But so now, if you look at contemporary problems, so why is the Yankee Empire and the Zionists, as I'll politely call them, why are they attacking Tehran and Persia? Because the US is involved in a desperate rearguard maneuver trying to maintain its unipolar empire across the world, but it can't afford to do that. And so trying to knock out Tehran and trying to dismantle the alliance between Russia, Persia, and China. That's a strategic game that the Americans would like to win, but they've lost. And so to really understand what's happening now, people need to see the shift, the inexorable shift from a unipolar moment from about 1945 to, say, 2008, the financial crisis. And now we're shifting into a geopolitical multipolar world where the actual 85% of the world's population, they actually have a chance of getting reasonably wealthy instead of being ripped off by European supremacists.
Anyway, thank you for listening. My name is Kate.